Yeah, no, it's shocking. Now, Tom, one of the things I always liked about your organization is, again, you guys are not partisan. I mean, you may have political beliefs, but you guys will go after, swamp rats on either side, which I appreciate, because if we're going to clean the country up, we can't just give one side a pass either. Do you have any faith that the Republican Party, if we were to take back the House, which looks likely, knock on wood, that there'll be investigations into Fauci? And the question I want to get to next is about Hunter, but about Hunter Biden too. Or is this just going to be one of those things where they say, you know what, it's time to move on and just let bygones be bygones?
I think the Republicans are going to increase oversight since they don't really have the ability to do much else, with the Senate likely to be, either split closely or controlled even by the Democrats, and President Biden being the president. I don't see them getting much of anywhere. My concern is that the Republican leadership in the House has a demonstrated record of being not terribly interested in doing significant investigations or oversight. And so I'm concerned that we're going to have more of the same. I mean, look at the Hunter Biden issue. Mueller was appointed special counsel within a minute of Trump becoming president because of alleged conflicts of interest. Here we have the president's son, whose criminal activity has implicated the president, and Garland has gone 2 years without being held accountable by Republican leadership to appoint a special counsel as the rules apply. I don't believe a special counsel is a silver bullet, but at least that's the rule. And here we have the Biden administration covering up for itself with that nary a peep from the Republican leadership in either the Senate or the House. And if it were a big issue for them, you'd hear more about it. And I just don't think Republicans, in the old-fashioned sense of the word, the establishment Republicans, they don't like doing investigations. They don't like scandal politics. They've never liked it. And to the degree anything gets done, it's going to be done with a lot of work by individual members trying to not only overcome the objections of the Biden administration in terms of just providing documents. They couldn't get documents out of the Trump administration, and they had a friendly president.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to overcome slow walking and lack of interest from the Republican leadership, to put it charitably.
Let me ask you a question about kind of a bird's eye view question. I'm friends with, and so are you, with Dave Bossie. There's people who were involved in the whole investigation into the Clinton, scandals, or some, Rose Law Firm, Whitewater, Lewinsky, blah, 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 go on and on and on, right? Do you think this hesitancy by the establishment swampy Republicans, many of whom have been around for decades, comes from the fact that they got burned during the Clinton years, and at least politically they did? It just, nothing seemed to stick to Teflon Bill. Do you think there's something behind that they're still feeling road rash from that, and they think, oh, let's just let it go, it's not worth it?
I think that's part of it. I think the dirty underside of that many people don't acknowledge is that many Republicans got nailed as a result of them looking into it. Look, the left goes after Republicans just as much harder than conservatives or Republicans go after them in terms of accountability. And so, believe me, when you're talking about corruption in Washington, too often our conservative and Republican friends think, oh, well, that's a Democrat problem. It isn't a Democrat problem. It's a bipartisan problem, and it helps explain the hesitancy of Republicans to push too hard, because there are too many skeletons in Republican closets. As well, I'm sure we'll find out as soon as they start looking into Biden. Look, Trump wanted to go after Biden for corruption, and they tried to impeach him and remove him from office. What do you think a Republican congressman's going to get? How is he going to get treated, or she going to get treated?
Yeah, that's such a good point. We're talking to Tom Fitton from the great group Judicial Watch. You're fantastic. No, you make great points. In your organization, you guys, like I said, I can't say so if you've done this before, like your concern is the swamp, not the Democrats, or the swamp. The reason I asked you that question, though, is the Republican Party get burned looking into Clinton, because the media operation obviously was going to protect him no matter what. I mean, you had Brock and MoveOn.org, time to move on, whatever. But I think, and I'd love to get your opinion on this bird's eye view, it's a different time now. We have social media now. We didn't have that then. We have websites, Breitbart, The Blaze, Conservative Review. We have organizations that are better funded and organized now. Judicial Watch and others who figured out the process. We have, Fox News. We have Newsmax. We just have different blogs, podcasts. You get the point. Like, it's a different media environment with a number of different megaphones now. So any attempt to make things go away, like they tried to make the Lewinsky thing go away, like they may try with Hunter, it's just not going to work. All we got to do is put a video out of him in a sensory deprivation tank smoking crack, and the story comes back again. It's a different time now.
Yeah, there are political consequences that, because of the access to media and social media, that the corrupt politicians like Biden has to face. But the trick is, and I think Americans are frustrated, that it's one thing to get the information out. It's another thing for the Justice Department and the other agents of law enforcement to not do anything. And I think the concern is that a negative press story is one thing, but that doesn't slow them down. I mean, it never stopped Hillary, right? Unless there is a prosecutions and people go to jail for the sort of misconduct and criminality we've seen over the last years. Trump is one of many crime victims of this crew. They're just going to keep on doing it. And, and that's the challenge. Are we going to get some law enforcement in this town finally? And until we do, we're in dire straits.
Yeah, it's such a good point. And that's why your adage, the process is punishment. I repeat it often. I footnote you as often as I can and attribute it to you, but it's such a key component we need to get down, that the left has mastered this. And it's time for us to use the process like it was meant to be used, not as punishment, but to create a law and order constitutional republic where the rules are the rules. So Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch, thank you very much for your work over there. You're awesome. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate the good work.
You got it.